And welcome back. Newly appointed Biden press secretary Jen Psaki blasting people on social media for a newly surfaced photo of her standing next to Russia's foreign minister while wearing a pink hat with a hammer and sickle logo. Here to react is Mark Williams, a Republican strategist, and Vikas Bajaj, also a Republican strategist and federal attorney. Gentlemen, so here is Psaki's response to people who share the photo. For anyone who hasn't been the target of Russian propaganda, the purpose is to discredit powerful messengers and to spread misinformation to confuse the public. Anyone who repeats it is unwitting or not, simply a puppet of the propaganda machine. So she's calling it Russian misinformation. Your reaction? Let's start with you, Mark.
No, I don't think it's Russian misinformation. It's hilarious to me that Democrats are calling for context in some of this. You know, I think I saw the USA Today article that said, hey, let's not take this kind of for what it's worth. Let's have some context about the picture. What's hilarious to me is that they've never afforded that to the right. I worked on the Hill for 15 years. I was lucky to do 5 of those for the congressman who ran the investigation into Russian influence in our 2000 election. On the internet, there was a picture of him wearing a MAGA hat. The story behind that was at the Republican conference, 2 years prior, everyone was given one of those hats. That picture ran almost every day while he led that investigation. He was not given the benefit of any kind of context. So I think the 3 lessons that are kind of learned here from this picture is 1, everything lives on the internet forever, and 2, context is only allowed if you're on the left, right, or you're a media darling. And then finally, 3, just don't wear communist hats. I think that's probably the most important one.
Yeah, that's a good lesson, Mark. Vic, Mark brought up a good point. If somebody on the Trump campaign had a photo like this, can you imagine what the media would do and say?
Yeah, I can imagine it because we've seen what the mainstream media has made out of really nothing in the past regarding actors in the Trump administration. But I don't want to lose the point that Mark made. I think there's a very big difference between a MAGA hat and a hammer and sickle. Let's not forget history matters and facts matter. In 1991, the last time the flag was flown in the former Soviet Union, it was brought down. And the reason why it was brought down is because it is and was a symbol of communism. Now, that picture with the lady who's now in the position was taken well after 1991. And if you do your history, you'll find out that the hammer and sickle, while it started as a symbol for peasants and hard workers and union amongst the common people, has now been unequivocally associated with communist ideals. So to say that this was just a hat or a symbol on a hat taken out of context is to ignore fact. And when we ignore fact, we make dire mistakes. So let's not forget about what history teaches us here.
Yeah, so the USA Today, they're fact-checking the photo. Their claim a photo shows Jen Psaki and Joe Biden's pick for press secretary wearing a hammer and sickle hat while posing with officials from Russia are ruling missing context because they say the hat was a gift, and that is a critical point. Mark, do you agree?
No, I mean, this is just the USA Today covering for Team Biden, right? And it's hilarious to me that they say, well, you got to have some context when they've literally never afforded Team Trump or any on the right that kind of context either. Look, I've witnessed it firsthand. And I just find it hilarious that the media it continues to show their colors and how big of shills they continue to be for the left.
Yeah, Vic, your reaction to the USA fact-checking that?
Fact check it is one thing, but don't call it a fact check if you're not fact checking. When I walk into trials every day and prosecutors or opposing counsel say, hey, you know what, ladies and gentlemen of the jury, this is the way it is. Well, I follow up by saying, where's the evidence? So we can call it fact checking. We can say it's out of context, but show me the beef, as they say. I'd like to know exactly what the true context purportedly is.
Yeah, absolutely. I think a lot of people do, right? Well, Mark Williams, Vikas Bajaj, thank you so much for joining us today.
Thank you.